Look at Floyd. Like, Floyd spends money like it's a tap. Like, he's got a tap, just like unlimited amount of money. Money's just flowing. And even as much money as he's made in his career, which he's probably made as much, if not more money than any boxer ever. Like, there's all these losses, been paying things, and he owes money on this and owes money on that. And then he's got to come out of retirement.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. I think it's just the lifestyle that Floyd lived.
Yes.
I think he can't fathom to just live a modest lifestyle. He got to be lavish.
Right. He's got to have those videos where he shows you all the watches, where he opens the case up, you know.
All the money. He got to show that he got $1 million in his backpack. And, you know, he got the latest watch and the latest car, and look what I just bought.
And when you get into latest watches and latest cars, you get into that, like, boy, that money goes quick.
Yeah.
Bugattis are like 3 million. There's watches that are 3-5 million. That's crazy. So you buy a watch and a car, you're down 10.
When Joe Rogan first reacted to the headlines about Floyd Mayweather Jr. and his massive real estate empire, he didn't sugarcoat anything. Speaking on his podcast, Rogan questioned the scale of the claims, pointing out that while they sound impressive on the surface, they don't fully add up when you start looking closer. He basically suggested that once you run the numbers properly, the story begins to feel exaggerated rather than airtight.
And one of the reasons why people watch him fight is not because he's like Mike Tyson, just goes out and destroys people. They like watching him fight because they hate him. Because he talks so much shit, and he's like, look at my $1 million watch, look at my jet, look at my house, look at this. He's like constantly showing you all these things that he has. Like, he'll lay out watches in a hotel bed, like, this is $1 million worth of watches. This watch goes for $2 million. And they're like, this is my small watch that I take sometimes, but when I'll show you, when I'll show up, I bring out the big boy, and it brings out this watch that's covered in diamonds. It's like $5 million. And so
Floyd owes like $1.4 million in jewelry debts, that Floyd owes like hundreds of thousands of dollars in rent for a private New York apartment. His private jet fuel, he's not paid hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of fuel and maintenance. He put up one of his jets that I think he even sold, but one of his jets, and I want to say one of his properties, like one of his homes, up as collateral for a $54 million loan from an individual, from a billionaire, that had a 9% interest on the...
Rogan went even deeper into it, challenging the idea that Floyd owns dozens of buildings worth tens of millions each. His core message was straightforward. There's a big difference between saying something publicly and having verified financial records to support it. Flashy claims can build an image, but they don't automatically mean the assets exist exactly as described.
Money to the IRS. How much does he owe?
it's in the $20+ million range.
It's a lot of money, man.
But it's not something that he's been, it's not like deception.
No.
It's just neglect to pay.
Neglect. And it's also like, I think, and there is like a truth to this. He makes so much money. There's probably a point when they're like, hey, it's time to pay your taxes. And you go like, all right, here's a check for $25 million. That's an incredible amount of money. And then they go, that's true, but you owe 50 more. And he's just like, that can't be right. I've given you $25 million.
Yeah, he's bought over 100 luxury cars from the same dealer and always pays in cash.
He has $15 million worth of cars.
Congrats.
This is where the situation becomes more layered. Floyd Mayweather Jr. spent years crafting the Money Mayweather persona, built on visible wealth, stacks of cash, luxury watches, private jets, and a lifestyle that looked untouchable. But behind that carefully constructed image, reports from business outlets have hinted that the financial reality could be more complex than what's shown publicly.
Floyd Mayweather is made, and because he's the best in the history of pay-per-view at making sure that the money ends up in his pocket. He is or has been a businessman as an athlete that almost doesn't have a peer because he owns all his own stuff as an independent. Your spending has to be so fiscally irresponsible to lose the amount of money that Floyd Mayweather has lost that it is almost beyond anything that is reason. It's not merely fiscal insanity. It's something that doesn't make any sense to me.
Right. And another sign of him maybe in financial trouble is, as of February 2026, Floyd Mayweather has initiated a massive $340 million lawsuit against Showtime Networks and former executive Steven Espinoza. So he's trying to get some bread right now.
The estimate is that he made over $1.2 billion over the course of his career and just...
According to Business Insider, several properties connected to Mayweather have reportedly faced foreclosure concerns. There were also claims that his Las Vegas strip club property risked being seized due to unpaid taxes. Add to that lawsuits alleging unpaid bills for high-end watches and jewelry, claims Floyd has strongly denied. And suddenly the narrative shifts from pure wealth to questions about financial management.
Said that, I mean, things that they said in this article were insane, that Floyd owes like $1.4 million in jewelry debts, that Floyd owes like hundreds of thousands of dollars in rent for a private New York apartment, his private jet fuel. He's not paid hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of fuel and maintenance. He put up one of his jets that I think he even sold, but one of his jets and I want to say one of his properties, like one of his homes, up as collateral for a $54 million.
The same outlet also reported that 2 of his condos at Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas were temporarily seized due to tax issues before being resolved. On top of that, there were reports of a large loan, around $54 million, allegedly backed by assets like properties, a private jet, and business holdings. Whether all of this is fully accurate or partially misunderstood, it highlights a clear gap between the public image and the reported details.
That. And why are we attempting to tease Floyd? Is Floyd Mayweather? Yes, he's broke. Of course he's broke. He's a boxer. Did they say can't read? That's not to tease him. They say that he can't read. His best friend at the time said that he can't read, and he never denied it. I don't tease him for it. He was a guy who grew up in a boxing gym, right? It's one of these things. You know what you know. You know what you were taught. I didn't teach him about contracts. I didn't teach him about saving. I didn't teach him about investments. Who would have taught him these things?
Rogan's skepticism sparked major debate, but things escalated further when Chael Sonnen jumped into the discussion. Sonnen didn't seem surprised at all. Instead, he flipped the narrative, questioning why people act shocked if a fighter continues working for money. In his view, that's normal, not controversial.
An addict. He's got baby mamas all over the... What do you mean is he broke? Of course he's broke. What boxer do you know that isn't broke? What a ridiculous question. But it's the fact that they're attempting to tease him. I mean, first off, they're asking the question. Look, I've told you until I'm blue in the face. The numbers that you hear in boxing simply aren't true. Floyd made $1 billion. No, he didn't. Floyd and Conor made $500 million. No, they didn't. Of course they didn't. Nobody's ever confirmed that. And it's the same thing with the check. I got $100 million for a fight. Oh, you did? Who signed the check? Whoever signed the check is going to want credit for it. There's never been a time that $1 million check was written and the dude that wrote the check didn't make sure that somebody found out he wrote the check. So who wrote the check? Floyd's got a whole bunch of them, apparently. He got $1 billion. Who wrote?
He also took aim at the massive earnings figures often linked to boxing events. Sonnen suggested that those billion-dollar pay-per-view headlines are frequently driven by promotion rather than publicly confirmed data. When he pointed out that the companies handling these purchases rarely verify those exact numbers, it challenged long-standing assumptions about boxing revenue.
I'm only sharing with you, like, the numbers aren't what you think they are, right? The numbers are good, and they made a lot of money, but it's not what you think it is. And, yeah, of course Floyd's broke. Would you be boxing if you weren't? And it's very tough to be...
All of this brings the conversation to one central question. Is Floyd Mayweather Jr. returning to the spotlight for financial reasons, love of the sport, or unfinished business with Manny Pacquiao? That debate